I'm not sure how to start this video, other than by saying there comes a time in someone's life that you need to start taking action and to build a life that you really want. And the scary thing is you don't always know what it is that you really want. It takes a lot of work, patience, and anxiety to really craft a cause for yourself in this world where things are never as they seem, never as you expect, and for people who really want to be noble and build a life worth living, and cater to those around them, right? And build a life that involves people around them. This video and this series that I'm about to start is about that. I'm going to take part in this 1 year vlogging kind of journey where every week I spend time recording and filming myself and sharing the ups and downs of life and what it's like. I quit my job just a few days ago and decided to go on a journey to redefine myself and build a life worth living. And it's really hard. I walked away from Apple, and now I walked away from a role as a CTO of a startup. And now I'm trying to figure out who I am and why I'm doing what I do. You might feel like me. You graduated from school and jumped into work. And you might find some success there. Maybe you're going up the ladder, but are you really finding purpose in your life? That's a question I ask myself, and that's why I'm here. So in this video, from today for the next 52 weeks, I'm going to document my life week by week and talk about how I'm going from basically jobless or unemployable to making, hopefully by the end of this, $1 million a year. All right, let's get started. My name is Farhan. I've worked at Apple, I worked at Google, I've worked at a startup as a CTO, I've built companies from the ground up, done Kickstarters, and you name it. I've just done a whole bunch of stuff. I was actually a professional magician at one point. I used to be a world star yo-yo trick guy back in the day. I used to train to be a chef. There's so many stories that I can tell you about who I am, but I don't really know who I am. And that's this journey that I'm taking for the next 12 months, the next 52 weeks, is a journey of rediscovery to try and build a life that I can be proud of. And this video is a start. And it took me a long time to think about what to even talk about in this video. And I think we're going to talk about purpose and building a life purpose. But before we go into building a purpose, we got to start talking about jumping into something like this and what it feels like, the anxieties you're going to go through and the anxieties I go through, so that, maybe if you're going through it, that someone else is there, and you can leave a comment below, and I'll reach out to you and we can talk more about it together. But for those that haven't, the challenges that you may face jumping into doing your own thing right out of school, right out of work, whatever it may be. So let's get started and let's talk more about that in this video. So part one is why? Why would I quit Apple? Why would I quit being a CTO at a startup, and why am I here talking to you about this video? But I think the step of leaving Apple gave me the confidence to leave the job to leave the startup as a CTO. Now, Apple is beautiful, amazing. They give you everything, right? They take care of you. They make sure that you love being there. And so leaving that to something else is very tough. So the first step is to go to a startup where you have much fewer things, right? And so it was much easier for me to leave the startup because I took that step from everything to some things to basically nothing, and I'm all on my own. And to give you an idea of what it's like, if you live in America, if you live in Canada, it's a bit easier, but if you live in America, this is what you need to worry about. Once you leave, if you have a family, if you're by yourself, how are you going to pay rent, right? You might have a long lease agreement, right? If you need to break it or not, you have to think about that. What about medical bills, right? Or what about medical expenses or insurance in general, right? Car insurance, all the bills, all the stuff, everything, right? It's on your own back right now, and it's through your work, right? And I think that's something to be super proud of. And I take a moment here to pause. I really appreciate this aspect of founders and people who are trying to build their own businesses, and you really don't understand that pressure until you're in it, right? And if you're in it, congratulations, you are super strong. And I now understand what a strong soul you are to take it upon yourself to feed yourself. It is honorable and very, very commendable. And to those who are not, just take a step back to appreciate your employer does a lot for you, right? There's a reason why you have a job, and there's a good reason for you to get paid per week because you're giving an ROI to the company. But appreciate that, because someone else is helping put food on your table through your work, of course. But when you're on your own, you got to figure that out, right? So anyways, the decision to leave was very nuanced. There's many internal factors. I'm not going to go into that, but I left. And one of the best things that I did learn from that experience is how hard it is to leave and how hard it is to figure out that path going forward. So that's what this video is about, of course, and we'll talk more about different aspects of it, but I hope this introduction helped you. All right, so the second thing I want to talk about is finding structure. Now, this is the thing about when you're just leaving a job or leaving, an organization or something big that you were doing before. You go from, go mode, you have schedules and deadlines and all these things that you need to do, to all of a sudden having absolutely nothing, right? Or, you might have some projects here and there, but you kind of have to reconstruct an entire schedule, an entire regime for yourself. So what I found really important and what I found really useful is sticking to the things that are timeless. For example, going to the gym, I haven't stopped that. Waking up early, going to bed early, those kind of, universal things that I've done before that I found really useful in my life, I kept those going. And this is important because you can at least have some goals to build towards and have some sort of structure that you can kind of bounce back onto, right? So, for example, if you're waking up early on time and going to the gym, that stuff is done. You've hit the gym, you've done that impactful part of your day, it's done and out, and you know that you're progressing there, you're getting stronger, you're getting more fit, whatever it is, right? So keep that going, and that's something that was really important to me as well. It helped organize myself and it helped me guide me to what I needed to do. And the next thing that I'm doing that's going to help structure me and keep me going is a commitment to reading one textbook a week and one storybook every 2 weeks. And right now what I'm reading is $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozi. You might have heard about it. And I'll talk more about it in the upcoming vlogs about what I've learned from it. And the storybook that I'm reading right now is Charles Dickens's Oliver Twist, which is a really fantastic book, has a lot of great messages. And I'll talk about what I've learned from it without spoiling it later on as I progress through the story. But these are things that'll help ground you. Let's talk a little bit about books and why they're important and why I chose these two. And what advice that I've been given about books is this. It's very simple. If there's a book that's been around for a very long time, it's likely worth reading. So things like, for example, Oliver Twist is a great novel because it's existed for many generations. That means it has a story to tell that lasts beyond its time, right? And so if there are textbooks, if there are novels, if there are things like that have existed throughout time and still exist today, those are worth reading because people have read them, and you have a limited number of days in your life, right? And because of that, make sure that you spend your time wisely. And that means that reading books or reading material and spending your time in a way that is worthwhile because you have limited days, right, on this earth. So yeah, keep that in mind. That's what I'm keeping in mind, and that helps me push forward and building that structure through your day. All right, so I'm back here to talk to you a little bit about life purpose statement and why it's important at this time and this kind of stage of your life. So yeah, maybe you've lost your job or maybe you've quit like I have, and you're trying to figure out how to spend your time wisely and how to do things that are actually worthwhile and worth your time. For example, we spoke a little bit about reading the right books. Now let's talk a little bit about spending the right kind of time and doing the right kind of things and what guides you. And more than all of that, sure, you can have this guiding principle, right? But you gotta have the why. The why you're doing what you're doing. And this, I wish I knew this before in my life, but that's it. You grow and you learn. And one of the latest techniques that I've gotten is the concept of a life purpose statement. And I gathered it, I built it in the last few weeks with my coach, excellent coach. And he helped me build this life life template or life purpose template. And if you're interested, comment below if you want to learn about how to do it or how to build your own purpose statement, because I think that is probably the glue that binds the rest of this video and the rest of kind of where I'm going for the next few years of my life, right? And so I'm going to read you my life purpose statement. It's a mixture of personal, family, and religious. I'm a very religious person, and it does guide me a lot, and I use that, and you'll see the themes within that, right? So my life purpose: to live with honesty, with honor and kindness, embodying a heart akin to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to pursue intelligence, bravery, and strength, cherishing Allah's love and mercy, as a protector and as a motivator, and as a family pillar. I aspire to earn a cherished place in the presence of Allah, leaving a legacy of love and purposeful living. So you heard my purpose statement, and I'm quite proud of it. And I really recommend you have a life purpose statement and you post it below. Be proud of it. Make sure that other people know it so that you can live it and live by it. And I want to share a little bit of a story that happened to me this week and about how important it is to have a life purpose and why it guides you. I have a really close friend, a really awesome guy, and he's been through a really hard time in the last year. He's actually, right now, a lot of his family lives in Gaza, and they're under turmoil, as you may have heard from the news. But one of the things he told me was during the time that he was having all of these really hardships happening to him, he wishes that he had a life purpose like I did, or I have. And that's because as he went through the struggles, he wishes that there was a guiding light on why it all matters, right? And if you're a religious person, you can latch onto that, right? That's what a lot of us do, that, hey, with the hard times come the good times. And whether you're religious or not, doesn't matter. It's when there's hard times, you kind of hope for the good times, right? Or you know that without the hard times, you don't really appreciate the good times, and vice versa. But having that life purpose statement enables you to have a lot more direction, right? And a lot more confidence that although all of these struggles are happening, you have a way forward, right? So in my purpose statement, what did I say? To be honorable, to be kind, right? To do things like the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? These are important. Why? Because as I interact with people, as things happen to me, I get to decide how does it fit in with that life purpose. So for instance, let's say that I am building a startup now and I want to seek capital from an investor, right? My goal is to be honorable and very truthful because that's what the Prophet was, right? And so how do I make sure that my dealings and my conversations with these investors have the most upright honor and humility as well as honesty? And how do I make sure that the money that I take, I use it in an honorable way, right? These are all guided by that life purpose, right? And on top of that, it's to be a good father figure, right? Or to be a good person at home, right? As a husband or as a son or as a father, right? What do I need to do that? Does that mean that I have to be strong in times of, crises? Does that mean that I need to, guide our family when everyone else is down, right? Does it mean that I need to go scrub the toilets as a custodian at some gym or something to bring in enough money to feed them while I struggle through these times? Yeah, most likely, right? Because I need to make sure that I provide for the family. And so these guiding characteristics, these guiding principles help me identify, as I build this life I want to build, what are those principles I hold on to? So think about that as you go on this journey, whether you're going to go on this journey or not. Craft that purpose statement and use it to guide you through these rough times, and hopefully it elevates you and takes you to some of the best times of your life. All right, so how do we conclude this video? It's hard because it's kind of the start, but it's the end of this video. But I think I'll leave you with a few takeaways that I'm thinking through as I go into this next week of challenges and this next week of struggle, right? Now let's reflect, right? Number one, create a purpose statement, right? Don't forget. purpose statement is super key and important in your life, and use it to guide you through the good and the bad times. Number two is read books that are timeless, right? And the ones that I'm reading right now to kind of remind myself and everyone else is, and the books I'm reading right now are $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozy and Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. And I know that $100 Million Leads just came out, so it doesn't really go with that timeless advice that I'm talking about. But the good thing is it's a pretty quick read. And I think there's a lot of value in this book particularly, because a lot of people are finding value for it. So I think there is a timelessness aspect there. But I do plan to read more timeless books in the coming weeks, especially in business and personal development. Right. And then, make sure that you keep your old schedule, right? And the good schedule, the kind of the timeless things for you. For example, healthcare, reading, waking up on time, going to bed on time, those kind of things, eating well and sleeping well, and all of those things, right? So yeah, that's it for this week's video about my journey from basically unemployable to $1 million at the end of the year. Hope you like it. If you have any comments and questions, leave them down below. I will definitely respond to them and keep you posted on my journey. And if you're interested in any other answers or questions, keep it up. Subscribe if you want to follow me on this journey. And yeah, looking forward to hearing more from you. And I hope you hear more from me, more positive things and more growth. And I hope to hear that from you. Awesome. Take care. Good luck on your journey. See you in the next one.